I think every golfer, once you're introduced to the game, every golfer has this potential to become obsessed and just like enamored with golf. And I don't think that's a bad thing. I think the idea of finding something that you can work toward mastering is one of the most beautiful things in life. And I'm super grateful that I found golf and was obsessed in this mastery pathway that I found. It changed my whole life. And I think for every golfer, when you find that point, you enter this little realm where every decision you make is based on, will this help me become a better golfer or not? And it becomes less about being cool and less about looking good in front of your friends or having the same thing that somebody else has. And it becomes more about that mastery journey. And so for me as a player, having gone through so many different realms of competitive golf, and as a coach, seeing so many of my students go up this ladder of progression and mastery, there are some key features that are really important. Number one, the bag needs to be as light as possible, but it also needs to be as durable as possible. And I think with our newest construction made from recycled plastic, the bag is now as light as we can make it and as durable as it can possibly be. Another feature that I think is really important on the golf course is just ease of use. When I put the bag on my back, there's a little pocket right down by my left hip where the rangefinder goes. And that pocket, it has a tiny little magnet in it, but it's not closed and it's not zipped up. So when I'm walking down the fairway, I can reach in that pocket, pull out my rangefinder, and shoot the yardage super easily. Another part about accessibility is all the pockets being magnetic, whether it's the ball pocket or where your glove goes. That's really helpful because when you're on the course and you're trying to get a ball out, or maybe you just hit one out of bounds and you're in your head and you're like unzipping this pocket and you're opening it up and you're trying to find the ball and then you're zipping it closed. It's nice to have one less thing to think about. Just open this pocket, grab the ball, it'll snap shut on its own. Easier accessibility into the pockets, and then also just the lack of potential failure of that zipper. Another really important feature to me as a player is the top of the bag. And you'll notice that we don't have a 14-way divider system in any of our bags. That's because I, at one point as a competitive player, thought, oh, it would be so cool to have a 14-way divider. I got a bag with a 14-way divider, and I quickly found out that because it was a 14-way divider, that meant 14 compartments of nylon that were stitched into the bag and into the bottom of the bag. And because I was playing every day, within about, I don't know, that bag lasted me probably 2 months. I pulled a club out, the nylon ripped out of the bottom of the bag. That nylon was attached to another piece of nylon. So eventually that 14-way divider system became just a bunch of nylon that I cut out of the bag. And then there was no divider system. So the 14-way divider system, if done properly, it can be great, but it weighs a ton and it just doesn't make sense for a player. So you'll see the opening on the top of our bag has been thought about to be made in the best way for a player.